It's kind of ironic that I'm wearing a Marvel shirt doing a DC ranking, but let's do it. What's going on, guys? My name is Trevor. Welcome back to my channel. This past weekend, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad came out in theaters and on HBO Max, making it the 11th DCEU movie, and it's safe to say I absolutely loved it, and we now have 11 DCEU movies. We're going to rank them, place them on the proper tiers. Join me down below in the comment section. How does your guys' ranking compare, and what did you think of James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and did you see it in theaters or on HBO Max? Let me know all that down below in the comment section. With that said, let's get into our tiers. Alrighty, starting out with our tiers, we have GOAT, meaning greatest of all time. There's only one movie going in there, my favorite of the DCEU movies. Then we have great, then we have good, then we have okay, then we have meh, then we have my goodness, meaning it's not very good, my goodness. Alrighty, these movies are in no particular order, but starting off to where it all began, Man of Steel. I'm putting Man of Steel in the great tier. This is a action-packed, beautiful movie from Zack Snyder. Henry Cavill was born to play Superman. This is my favorite Superman movie, though I haven't really seen all that many Superman movies. I absolutely love what they do here with this, and the score is riveting. It brings you into the film, it brings you alive, and Kal-El, learning where he came from, learning how he's adapted to Earth. Superman, it's awesome. At the end, it maybe seems a little convoluted and kind of repetitive that they keep smashing into building over building. I think it's epic. I think Hans Zimmer's best score in this movie. I absolutely love everything about Man of Steel. Then we have BVS. Keeping it on a great tier, guys. Here we go. Great tier. I absolutely love Batman vs. Superman. I have now rewatched the theatrical edition. I've only watched it once in theaters, but I always watch the Ultimate Edition. I generally cannot tell you too much of a difference. I like the Ultimate Edition. I think it just gets fleshed out a little bit more. I like the action between Batman versus Superman. Whose side are you on? You have to market it kind of like that. I was always team Batman. I love the Batfleck as Batman. I like the darker, grittier aspect we get with the Batfleck. He's this big, like, metally suit, and lots of people compare it to, like, the Arkham video games, and I can see that. I didn't really play them growing up, but I can see, like, where they're coming from with the suit. I absolutely love what they do with the darker, grittier Batfleck, and he has to go against Superman. They have a duke it out. They fight it out. I never minded Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Lots of people did. Amy Adams is always great. And then they have one of the best superhero entrances of all time in Wonder Woman. It is absolutely epic. It is brings you into the film and brings you alive. When you don't think anything more could happen, they bring in Wonder Woman. The villain Doomsday, I feel, was kind of not really a waste, but I thought they could have kept this movie more of a Batman versus Superman. That was really it. Maybe, I don't know. That's just me. But anyways, I really do love this movie. It's great in my opinion. Then we have Suicide Squad, 2016 Suicide Squad. So, after seeing the new Suicide Squad, this one goes down definitely a little bit more. I'm still going to put it in the meh tier, okay? It wasn't the okay tier before. I'm going to the meh tier. I know this is a lot of people's least favorite movies of all time. A lot of people hate this movie. By all means, you have the right to do so. I never was that guy. I kind of went in this movie with not too many expectations, and I ended up kind of enjoying it. The more and more I rewatch it, the less and less I like it. It is a bit slow. The music, I enjoy the soundtrack, but sometimes it feels like out of place, and it's not overall really the best edited film. Obviously, there's complaints everyone have, but for whatever reason, I can't say I hate this movie. It's not a great movie, but it's more of a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm going to leave it at that. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Appreciate it. Then moving on to Wonder Woman. I'm going to put Wonder Woman in the good tier. I rewatched this one earlier this year before Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it just didn't hit the same for me, man. I wanted it to. I loved it before. I watched it in theaters. I watched it all the time. Always enjoyed it. But when I rewatched it this year, for whatever reason, I wasn't grabbed and pulled into it like I normally am. Steve Trevor is absolutely great. He's my favorite part about this movie. I think everyone's favorite part. And Chris Pine and Gal Gadot's chemistry really works, and if they didn't work, the whole movie would crumble. I love the relationship. I love the love story, and I love at the end of the movie what Patty Jenkins did, where he's telling her something, you can't really hear it, then it goes back later in the film, and we get to find out what he says. I think it's done beautifully. It's directing at its finest. Still a good movie, just not great to me anymore. It's weird. I don't know why, but there it is. Then we have Justice League, and it has to go on, my goodness, especially after watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, which we saw what a movie could be. When here we are, what can this movie actually be? When we saw Zack Snyder's vision of what the movie should have been, this one went right down the crapper. I mean, it is just really not good at all. And especially now after seeing Zack Snyder's Justice League, like, you get more about Steppenwolf. It's just kind of crazy that that's the movie we got, and Joss Whedon did the best he could, but Justice League sucks. It really does. Then we have Snyder Cut Justice League, putting that in the great tier as well. This was my favorite DCEU movie back when I did ranking back in March when this movie came out. The only thing that holds this movie back for me is that I don't know how often I'm going to go back and rewatch a 4-hour movie like this. I really enjoyed it when I watched it, but I need to go back and rewatch it. I haven't really wanted to just because of that length of the film. Also, everything that he set up in his film, it looks like we're never going to see it. And it really makes me sad because, I mean, it had set up so much. Steppenwolf was a good villain in this. He actually had motive and drive, and he's kind of like Ronin to Thanos. Darkseid was supposed to possibly be the big bad DC villain, and we get glimpses of him. Like, okay, it's going to be awesome. And we're probably never going to get him again. And that nightmare scene at the end with Batfleck and Jared Leto as the Joker, that little interaction, it's unbelievable. And what Zack Snyder was able to do, finish with the $30 million budget to finish this movie and make it one of the better movies of the year. It's absolutely fantastic. It's just not my favorite anymore. And really, because everything they set up in it, we're not going to be able to see again. And I want to cry about it. Then we have Aquaman, arguably one of the funnest movies inside the DCEU, going right in the good tier. It's cheesy, it's really self-aware, and James Wan is one of my favorite directors, if not my favorite working director. I absolutely love everything the guy does, and his use of visuals and his use of transitions is absolutely fantastic here. Jason Momoa is Arthur Curry. That's all there really is to it. Redheads, you gotta love them. You're damn right. Then moving on to another fun movie, Shazam, going in the good tier as well. I'm not as high on this one as everyone else. I know everyone really loves this movie. Never was that for me. I enjoyed it though quite a bit. I had so much fun when I watched it. I only watched it the one time, and I'm very excited for the second Shazam. And maybe Henry Cavill will be in there. Superman, maybe, fingers crossed, hopefully. But Zachary Levi is meant to play Shazam. He is literally born to be this character. And what I love is like a teenage boy who had problems growing up, you know, throughout foster care and lots of different troubles and trials and tribulations throughout high school. What would it be like to be a high school kid to become a superhero? I think this movie nails it on the head. You're kind of having fun, you're dancing, you're trying to explore with your powers in. I think they do a really good job of that. It's self-aware, it's sweet, it's fun, and honestly, it's pretty dang epic at the end when everyone becomes a Shazam. I mean, I love it. Moving on to Birds of Prey. I'm not going to say the long title. It's going in the great tier. It's crazy because DC's are kind of on a hot streak for me. -1 we'll get to here next. But Birds of Prey ended up being my favorite DCE movie. Then The Snyder Code was my favorite DCE movie. Then we have another one on here. It's going to be there. Kind of spoiler alert. But Birds of Prey, I think, is great. It's almost kind of like they're calling like a sequel to Suicide Squad. Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn is no longer with the Joker, so everyone knows that they're going after the killer. That makes for a very fun movie. Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. This is the best casting, I think, possibly in cinematic history. But Roman Sionis, Mr. Black Mask himself, one of my favorite DC villains, is brought to life by Ewan McGregor, and it's done so well. This movie is dark, it's gruesome, and it's going the DC route I wanted to. It's not Marvel. It's not really all that family-friendly, these DC movies. They're meant to be for the adult crowd. They're meant to be darker and grittier and raunchier, and this movie is gruesome, especially when she's snapping that dude's legs. My gosh, I think it's awesome. I think there's some cheesy moments in here. Sometimes you're kind of going, really? That's really in there? I like the way they told it. It felt like a Quentin Tarantino, Guy Ritchie movie, how the way it's told and rewinding and the narration over there like Martin Scorsese. I think it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Then going Wonder Woman 1984. My goodness. I can't believe this is down there with Justice League, but it is. I watched it on Christmas Day. When I watched it on Christmas Day, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I watched it at home on HBO Max. And I gave it a 7 out of 10. And I thought back to myself, when I was watching the movie, I was on my phone for a period of time because the movie was not very interesting. I looked up, and Steve Trevor was on the screen. I had no idea how he got there. I was in Christmas mood. I didn't feel like really hating on a movie all that much, and I think that's why I gave it a 7 out of 10. And for whatever reason, that's just not the case, folks. This is my least favorite DCEU movie just because I enjoy the first Wonder Woman, and coming down to this one, the CGI is not there. The whole wish factor of like trying to be what you wish will come to life, I thought it was just silly and plain out dumb, in my opinion. Having Chris Pine, Steve Trevor come back really felt unwarranted, especially kind of they kick him out by the end of the film. And Pedro Pascal is just, it's just weird, it's clunky. It's one of my least favorite movies of the last 10 years. It's my least favorite DCEU movie, which is saying something when you got Suicide Squad and Justice League, both above it. Want more from it. We're probably going to get a third one, and if we do, I really need more. Hopefully we get it. I guess we'll see. But the moment you're all been waiting for, the Suicide Squad, shouldn't have probably left it for the last, but it's going in the GOAT tier. Greatest of all time. This right now is my favorite DCE movie. I've watched it twice, once in theaters, once on HBO Max, and I actually enjoyed it the second time more. First time I watched it in theaters on Thursday night, it was so funny, it is so dark, and it is James Gunn at his finest. He had a bunch of characters that aren't really well known, like he did with Guardians of the Galaxy, and making an epic, raunchy, hard R movie, and I loved it. The characters in this movie, from Bloodsport to Peacemaker, absolutely fantastic, and John Cena to me was a standout, because I've never been a John Cena fan. Really brought me on board to be a John Cena fan. My favorite character in the movie was Bloodsport. This movie's epic. It's action-packed. There's heroism. There's betrayal. They are super villains. They're going to do bad things. and Starro at the end, the enormous starfish. Are you kidding me? It's kind of absurd and really far out there. My girlfriend didn't like it, and she really brought down the movie for her. I loved it. I embraced it. I cannot wait to watch this one again and own it on Blu-ray. That's going to do it for my ranking. Let me know how your guys' ranking compares down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Hit the subscribe button for me. I'll see you guys very soon.